Alright, so we are week 15. I hope you did have a great break. Kate, that was a hell of a game on Friday, man. That was a crazy game. So, for all of you in the band, you guys were great. They showed you a ton on TV for all of you bands. It was pretty cool. So, congrats, Cade. Congrats, guys. Anyway, so today we would obviously 1 through 10. We're doing primary source. Tomorrow you have 11 through 20. You're mapping your primary source. You do. Wednesday, 21 through 30 lecture. Test on Thursday. You're focusing your spices too. Everyone is aware. Bronson, you just got to toss them in a pile. Perfect. All right, here we go. All right, so document 1 is a what? Picture. Here we go. Come on, do what I want you to do. Perfect. All right. No. Full screen. Thank you, God. You would think I would, like, figure it out. You know, it's kind of shocking how bad I am at this and how often I do it. All right. So, sections of a slave ship. Typical small vessels employed in taking African slaves to South America. The hundreds of Negroes were packed between the decks in incredible fashion shown in the sectional views. All right, what do we know? Come on. I do need to get to content. You saw how tricky the words are today. Imagine the social structure I have to explain to you. So the faster we get through this, the better your life is, I promise. So, what do you got, Patrick?
It's trade from African slaves to South America, so it's probably the...
Okay, so it's a little bit of the Columbian Exchange. So it's a little bit of that, but when we talk about slaves, we actually call it the triangular trade. Triangular trade is actually what we call it, because the goods go from Europe to Africa, from Africa to the New World. What are the goods moving from Africa to the New World? Slaves. And then all the goods the slaves produce, the cotton, the sugar, and all that goes where? Europe, and it's the triangular trade. It is technically Columbian Exchange because goods are moving from Old World to New World, but triangular trade is what? So if it's in South America, where do we think they're heading? Where do we think they're heading, Anisha? Brazil. Why probably Brazil? Sugar. Brazil is going to be the largest importers of slaves. Why? Why does sugar require that much? Why would Brazil be doing it? Why? Greta?
It's like Portugal is like kind of a small country, so they don't have enough colonists to...
Oh, that's like a kind of like kind view. That's nice. Kind of kind. I mean, you're still having slaves, so you can't be that kind. But like, okay. All right. That's optimistic. Patrick?
Sugar is such a labor-intensive product that it needs, like, they don't want to do it themselves because...
No. A slave's life in Brazil lasts less than a month. They work them to death because it's the the sugar production is so immensely physically draining. They die within a month. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. Anyway, all right. Packed between the decks in incredible fashion shown here. All right. So what am I seeing here? Let's look at this picture first. What are we seeing? Where are the slaves? In the middle, down here? Where it says hold? No. Where are they? What do you got for me? What do you got, darling? Yeah, the slaves are here, ladies and gentlemen. These are the slaves. What goes in a hold? Who can raise your hand and tell me what goes in a hold? We've all seen pirate movies. What goes in a hold? Look in the picture. What do you think goes in the hold? Raina. Okay, food. Food, what else, Jamal? Okay, what is the biggest resource they're going to need while sailing along the Atlantic? Water. Okay, they don't really have water. What do they carry? Wine is what they carry, just because water, it gets tainted really easily. Okay, so all of that's in the hold. Okay, is there a lot of room or very little room? There's a lot of room. Okay, so let's look at what are they actually carrying for cargo? Slaves. So the slaves have a lot of room or very little room? So what does that tell us? Think about it. What does that tell us? Come on. Come on. We have a lot of stuff we got to cover this week. Zach.
The slaves were
far less value to them.
Yes! The slaves were valuable. Valuable, but not more important than their own resources. Jeez, correct? Alright, so we got the cabin over here. We've got our cannons over here. We got cannons back here. We have 2 other holds. Okay? So, this looks like this. What does that show us? What does it show us, Raina? Okay, they're kept close together. Kept close. What else do we see? Callie, what else do we see? Okay, so tightly packed. Why do you think they would keep them tightly packed? More. They wanted more on ship. Okay, what else? What else? What do you got, Anisha? I'm sorry, what? Yeah, they look pretty naked. I would agree on that. They look pretty naked. Okay, but what else? Do you think they're getting up and leaving, or do you think they're stuck there? They're stuck there. Them not leaving. They don't leave. They're packed in.
So are they like starving them?
Yeah. There's bigger problems here, guys. If they're not leaving, what are they doing where they're sitting? Yeah. In some boats, they stack them on top of each other. So if you're at the bottom, guess who's going to be dead after 3 weeks of traveling? People on the bottom. So guess who they put on the bottom? The old people. Why are they going to put the old slaves on the bottom? Not like the, 30, 40-year-old strong. Why are they going to put the older people on the bottom, Anisha? Nah. Why are they going to put old people? What do you got, Patrick?
They're more likely to die and they're less valuable too.
There you go. So we might as well put everyone on top of them. And there you go. So they literally are getting fed mush, but do you think they're coming back, or you think they're just throwing the food in there? They're throwing the food in there. They're stacked like this. Now look, do you think they're obviously not getting unpacked, correct? Because there's no way you could do that twice. Would you agree? If you were placed this way, and then you got freedom to go on the deck, are you going to happily go back to this? No. So guess what? They're never going to let you out. They're never going to let you out, correct? Because you'll never go back in. What?
How do they use the bathroom?
Go where they are.
It's disgusting. It's gonna cause like disease.
Darling, if your bathroom concern is like your big concern here, you're not seeing the big picture here. Bathroom concern is one that be like, oh man, that's gross. But the big concern here is that 30% of all slaves who get onto the ships die on transport. There's over 5 million people who died at sea. That doesn't even count how many people died over on the shores within less than a month of being there, because a lot of records didn't keep count. It's important to be horrified. Are you horrified? Good. All right, then we got the top of the boat over here. So we got 40 feet here. We got 19 feet here. So if you had to guess, how big's the boat? If you had to guess, how big do you think the boat is? Probably about between like 60 and 80 feet. Would you agree? Okay, so this room from that back corner where there's the little alcove to the alcove over there is 21 feet. Could you imagine 300 slaves being packed into a territory that is between, let's say, 60 feet? So it's not 60 feet. It's probably about 80 feet to 90 feet. Because that's 60 right there. So it's about 80 feet to 90 feet. They have about 300 to about 400 slaves packed in to about 80 feet. Anyway, all right. So what do we learn? What's the subject of the piece? What is the subject of the piece? What do we got? Audie. Slave trade. Okay, who's the audience of this piece? Who's the audience? Who is this made for? What do we think? Alex, who do you think? How was your Thanksgiving, by the way? Did you enjoy? Did you go Black Friday shopping?
I got a sweater.
That is the cutest answer I've ever heard. You got a sweater. Nice. Where'd you go? You didn't go to Best Buy, did you? Okay, good. Because that's where blood gets spilled.
Yeah, I saw videos on Snapchat.
Not a joke, man.
I went to
We're thankful, and then we take blood the next day. It's very confusing.
Some Black Friday strategy. Go to a store and then get all the products you want to buy and then keep them in a hidden corner so that when Black Friday comes, you just go to your hidden corner, get all your stuff.
So great. You can use this advice in what, 361 days?
Yeah.
Good advice, man. A little late, though.
Alright. Now I'll start writing stuff right now. So ready.
Audience, who's got into the piece, Alex?
So, other people want to know how to transport slaves.
Good. Slave traders. Absolutely. What is the purpose of this? If this is for slave traders, so people who are actually in the business of slave trading, what's the purpose of the piece? What is it, Cal? What time do you guys get home on Friday? Oh, wasn't too bad. All right.
I guess it would be to show like the most efficient ways to use those.
Efficient ways. Good. Is today really a short early release?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's to pack slaves. Who's the speaker of the piece? Who's the one actually drawing this drawing, Tristan?
Maybe like the captain of the ship. Or
Oh, I like that. Sure. Captain of the ship. Or the ship maker. Okay, why is he drawing it when he's drawing it? Why? Why, Patrick?
So other people can capitalize on slave trade.
There you go. Okay, it's about capitalizing on the slave trade. Good, Patrick. There's no tone in the picture. All right, here we go. So, Abbe Don Juan Ignacio Molina. Can we just talk about how awesome that name is?
greatest name.
That is, like, pretty awesome. A Chilean Jesuit from his history, published 1787. All right, what do we know? What do we know, Dylan? What sticks out here that's kind of weird?
1787.
Okay, 1787. There's a point. So technically this is what?
It's like more recent than
Okay. So what happens is we keep going through history. We keep getting more recent. Greta?
He's a Jesuit, so he's a Roman Catholic missionary.
Okay, so he's a missionary. He's Catholic. But what is the big kicker here? What's the big kicker here, Anisha? He's not Spanish. He's what? He's what? He's not Spanish. He's what, Audie? He's Chilean. Just because he speaks Spanish doesn't mean he's Spanish.
Oh, excuse me, two.
Yes, he's Chilean. He's from Chile.
I wasn't paying attention to that.
That's not good. That's not good. We're literally reading one sentence here, my darling. All right, so he's Chilean. Why is that interesting, Cade? He's Chilean, who is a Jesuit.
So Chileans aren't usually like Catholic.
No, they're not. Why aren't they usually Catholic?
That's
So what are clearly the Spanish doing once they arrive in the Americas? Zach.
converting the natives.
Converting the natives, absolutely. So if we have a Chilean Jesuit, clearly we've reached the west coast, never eat soggy waffles, yeah, west coast of South America, correct? Because Chile's on the west coast. So, have the Spanish covered most of South America, correct? Okay, so if he's Chilean, this is probably Incans have collapsed, correct? Yeah? Do we see this? Incans are gone. Okay, we have mass conversions. All right. Though the cities are, in general, built in the most fertile districts of the kingdom, many of them might have been more conveniently situated for trade upon the banks of the navigational rivers. So, Where are the cities? The cities are inland or coastal? Are inland. Are inland. Okay? So, what is more important, trade or farming? Farming was more important. Situated upon the navigable rivers is more particularly the case of those with recent erection. So, particularly in those in recent erection, what does that mean? What does that mean, Dylan? The new cities are built where? New cities are on a river. Why do you think there are new cities along the river? Think about it. Why are the new cities along the river? Why would all of a sudden they change from building inland along the super fertile lands to now building along the rivers? Why this huge change, Walker?
Because before they were on riverable land, they had the food, and if they want to settle near,
So they're going from farming to trade. Why would they go from farming to trade?
because they have more food than they don't allow it.
Why would they go from farming to trade, Daniel?
They have to trade the sugar that they produce.
Guys, it's a very simple reason. Why are all of a sudden they're building completely different cities in completely new locations? Elizabeth.
Training's going in that area.
Why? Guys, why? Why? It's kind of a big deal. It's a big, big deal. Brian. No, guys, period. What is happening big here? We have a Chilean Jesuit. For God's sakes, what does that tell us, Jamel? The Spanish are building them. Why would the Spanish build cities near rivers? Why, Tristan?
Export back to Spain.
Yes! Yes! They need trading ports in order to export all this crap back to make lots and lots of money. Are they making lots and lots of money in the Americas? No, because a lot of people in the Americas, are all the Americans buying American goods at high prices? No, because it's in their backyards. So what do they have to do? Export it. And where are they exporting it to? They're exporting it to Europe, Asia, wherever the hell they're going to get a high price. Makes sense that the Spanish would have to build all new cities, correct? Because the focus from the indigenous people is farming. Now these invaders have come over. They're exporting all their resources, all their natural resources to the old world, hence why. The streets in all the cities are laid out in straight lines. Who is this city? What city is this? Is this an old city or a new city? New city. If it's a new city, okay, they're in straight lines. Why? Europeans love cities in straight lines. Have you ever been to New Orleans? I just came back from there. It was very cool. It's their city. Everything's in a grid. Why is their city in a grid? Why, Patrick?
For organization.
Yeah, who built New Orleans? The French built it. Yes, it was a major trading port. Okay, have you ever been to St. Augustine? Yeah, it's laid out in a grid. Why is it laid out in a grid? Who built it? The Spanish. As a trading port. Intersecting each other at right angles and generally about 40 feet wide. The houses are mostly one story, yet are very commodious, are all whitewashed on the outside and handsomely painted within, each being accommodated with a pleasant garden irrigated by means of aqueduct or canal, which likewise furnishes water for the use of the family. Is this positive or negative? It is positive. Okay, the houses which belong to the wealthier classes, particularly the nobility, are splendidly and tastefully furnished. When he says furnished, what does that mean? What do we mean by furnished, people? Think about it, break down the word. What does furnished mean? Oh my god, oh my god. Think about it. Raina. What would be stuff inside of a house, Raina? Furniture. Furnished. furniture. Anyway, so they have handsome, tastefully furnished. Why is that weird that a Chilean dude is saying that? Is he putting a positive spin on the European or a negative spin on his? He's putting a positive spin. Is that good for his people or bad for his people? Bad, absolutely. He's kind of saying, oh my God, this is so tasteful. Look at how pretty this crap is. Oh my God, we've been living in like the slums, correct? If you walk in and say, oh my God, this is the most beautiful place in the whole wide world, okay, are you saying positive things about your house? No, absolutely not. Noticing that old buildings of 2 stories had resisted the most violent earthquakes, many of the inhabitants of the late years ventured to construct their houses in the European manner and to reside in the upper rooms. Okay, so inhabitants have late ventured to construct their houses in the European manner. Why are they building them in the European manner? Jing Hao, why? No. Thank you for listening. Zach.
They think that the European buildings and houses are more comfortable.
No. Guys, read the damn sentence again. Callie. Earthquakes. They're safer for earthquakes. Is this an important factor? Yes or no? It is a big deal. Okay? And reside in the upper rooms, employing bricks and stones in the construction of the new buildings instead of clay hardened with the sun. So, construction of their new buildings, bricks and stone. So, we're getting more solid structures. Instead of the cities have much handsomer appearance than formerly. Cellars, sewers, and wells were of old much more common than now, and want of these may have contributed to the render of buildings more secure from the effects of earthquakes. Okay, so there's pros and cons here. What are the pros to building in the European style? Hello, what are the pros, Patrick? Earthquakes. Earthquakes because better materials. Okay, what else is this guy saying is another pro? There's 3 big pros here you should have picked out. What's another big pro to doing it? What do you got? Okay, I'm going to keep that all under earthquakes. I'm just going to keep it all under earthquakes. Guys, think about it. What are the 3 big pros? What do you got? Melu.
Oh, it was in straight line, so it was organized.
Yeah, it's well planned. Well planned / pretty. Guys, what else is the other positive thing that they get? Think about it. Think about your city, your life. What would you definitely want in a city that you live in that's a positive thing? Patrick? Sewage! Okay, you're all disgusted by what was happening in the ship. You're all so concerned about poop and pee and not seeing it and not being around it, correct? Then you're big fans of sewage. You're welcome. Okay, what are the cons? What are the cons? There's probably 2 big cons you should have pulled out. Hello? The Europeans are coming in and setting up shop. They are building up infrastructure. We got sewage now and wells and all that stuff, so that's great. Can we agree? Yes? More reliable food, water source, cleaner, earthquake proof. That's great. That's definitely a pro. No one can say that's not a pro. What is a negative to the Spanish coming? Come on. Come on. Think about it. It's big picture, guys. What is the negative thing? What aren't they building anymore? What do you got, Alex? Okay, so they're leaving their traditional cities. Where do you think all the money is now? Hello? In the inland cities or the coastal cities? Coastal cities. So if you're going to find a job, where are you going to go? There we go. So, leaving coastal cities, and what's another one? What's another con? Think about it. What aren't they building anymore, ladies and gentlemen? Patrick?
They're like abandoning their culture.
Their cultural, very nice, Patrick. Cultural standards. There you go. They're abandoning their cultural standards. Is this whitewashing of a culture? Yeah. This is when we refer to whitewashing of a culture. It's not a bunch of white people come over and take over. They're literally painting the same buildings over and over again. Have you ever been to a colonial city? All the buildings look kind of the same, correct? They're beautiful, they're old, so that's nice, but they call it whitewashing because what do? They paint all the houses white. And they populate take over a whole city, and now everyone is forced to live in these whitewashed houses. So when we talk about whitewashed cultures, we're forcing these people, and some of them are choosing, obviously. All right, what's the subject of the piece? What's the subject of the piece? What do you got, Sarah? Okay. New European built cities. We'll leave it like that. All right, who's the audience? Who is the audience? What do we got? Ryan.
So like other people or other natives to South America.
Okay. Natives in South America. I don't know what that was, but. All right, what is the purpose of the piece? What is the purpose of the piece, Bronson?
I guess warn or inform the natives
Of what?
of European
Is it a positive piece or a negative piece? Let's start there.
positive.
It's a positive piece, so we can't be warning them. You know, it's hard to warn me that there's a hot fudge sundae up ahead, and man, it's really chocolatey. It's hard to warn me about something like that, Bronson. It sounds like you're inviting me to take part. So, what is this about? What do you got, Jamel? Kind of, but like, that would be the title, man. Huh? Praising. Okay, why would he be praising a city? What is his purpose of the piece? Why would he be going ahead and saying, wow, this is a great city? Because he does. Walker, help him out.
Persuade people to accept it.
Except what?
The new way of building cities.
Ah. Think about it bigger. You're right there, man. Why would he be writing such positive things about all these cities and stuff? It's a bigger thing. No one's like, oh, gee whiz, look at the city, man. We gotta do it. What do you got?
If he's pushing the Spanish lifestyle, he's probably also advocating for Christianity.
Whoa, okay. Yes, I think we're gonna get there. Guys, why is he writing this? Why? Alex? Yes! Purpose is to show. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get to you and your point of view. Okay? Is to show that the Spanish are what? Are they good or evil? Good. He's like, wow, look at all these beautiful cities they're building. Look at all these whitewashed walls. Yes, but long term, is it a positive thing or a negative thing? Hello? No one's ever been like, damn, I love colonialization as the native population. People in India hate the British. Why? Because the British destroyed their culture for only 300 years. So that's one thing. All right. Speaker. Who's the speaker of the piece? What do we got, Cal?
I don't want to butcher his name.
Why? I do it all the time. Why do we care about him, though? He's a what?
Chilean Jesuit.
Okay, so Jesuit, which means he's a what? He is he pro or anti-Spanish?
Pro, sir.
Why would you say that?
Because he's Catholic or whatever, and I guess they got to be better now.
He's converted, correct? He's given up his traditional religion, whatever it is, and has picked up Catholicism. I don't know about you, but do you pick up religions often? Nah? Alright, so it's a pretty big deal, I would say. Point of view! Why is he writing it when he wrote it? Why?
Because he's Catholic, so he's seeking converts.
Okay, he's seeking converts. And why do we know he's definitely looking for converts? Why? Why, Payne?
Because he's in the new world. And he's
Okay, and he's a what?
like
A Jesuit. Jesuits are literally the mass converters of people in the world. If you were born here in the United States, you are Catholic or Christian because of Jesuits. They're the ones going out and getting everyone to convert, and they're like the hardcore list makers, and they're the ones forcing everyone to be Christian. That if you weren't Christian, you were kicked out and you were murdered. Jesuits. Ta-da. There you go. So, seeking converts for Catholicism. We know this because he's a Jesuit. The Spanish are good. They bring God. There you go. Okay, what's the tone of the piece? What is the tone of the piece, Audie?
I'd say the tone is
Upbeat. I mean, you're not wrong. Upbeat, like I think of like as like a tune, like just an upbeat tune. All right, let's start with positive. Okay, it's positive. And what is it? How would you, besides upbeat, how else would you describe it, Audie?
say sort of like persuasive saying how
Yeah, absolutely. It's huge improvements. We're saving people's lives because of buildings, right? He's talking about the sewers, the gardens, we have irrigation, all that stuff. It's positive and persuasive. All right, perfect. All right, take out your notes. Let's go. Friendly reminder, you have a map due tomorrow and your primary, which you just completed, due tomorrow. All right, here we go. So, the Spanish. When they come to America, so you can raise your hand and tell me what year it's Spanish. When the Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue. What's a courageous thing to do? What year, Greta? 1492. There we go. So, after 1492, Columbus sailed for who? Spain. Who is going to have the most territory in the New World? Spain, yes. Why isn't Portugal going to be that big of a deal? They have Brazil, but why aren't the Portuguese that big of a deal in the Americas? You can raise your hand and tell me. Tristan.
there was that one treaty of
Okay, Treaty of Tordesillas. That's going to be there, but what else is going to keep them busy? Why, Greta?
They already had like a working system in Africa.
Yeah, they had the Africa, they had India going, they had all the East Indies, so they're like, we got this, we're kind of busy. Then they're like, man, there's some good stuff over here, we'll just take one place. And the Treaty of Tordesillas just limited them to a degree. So, the Spanish are going to arrive here in, so Christopher Columbus comes, he comes 3 times, and he plots off land, and are people in Spain happy with him or not? Why are they happy with him, Dylan? Yeah. And what didn't he find when he got here? No, yeah, nothing right off the cuff that was super useful. They didn't find the spices, they didn't find the silk, they didn't find the porcelain, they didn't find anything of value immediately. So Christopher Columbus dies broken, alone, and sad, and a drunk. Okay, so no one cares about him. He dies. Okay, then the Spanish are like, man, let's try this again. So they send more people over. And one of the first places they go is they meet the Tejano. Okay, they are going to be completely wiped out. Their indigenous population is going to be completely destroyed. Okay, so Columbus uses Hispaniola, which is Haiti and Dominican Republic, as a base for trading with Tejano. Okay, he's mad when he gets there. They don't have any spices, any silks, or anything, because he really does think he's in the East Indies. Okay, and he recruits to look for a mine. Why? Why would he immediately think they have gold? What must they be wearing? Oh, yeah, no one shows up someplace and says, there must be gold here unless they see gold. So, the Spanish enslave the Tejano people to mine for gold. They are the first indigenous population to be completely wiped off the planet. There are no descendants of any Tejano living after 100 years of the Spanish arrival. They're going to be worked to death, and they are gone. Now, this starts a very important process. It's called the Encomienda system. You need to write that down. It's right here. Gunnar, you're going to want to write this down. So the Encomienda system, we're going to finish here, is the Spanish use locals. Spanish use locals as a labor force for mining, farming, for mining, farming, and production. It's all based on race. So who's at the top of the Incommunis system? Europeans. Who's at the bottom? Slaves imported from Africa, but slightly, and I mean like a breath above. Who's above them? The locals, the natives. Okay, so the Tahano people are going to be the first ones wiped off the face of the planet. Don't worry, we have about 30 different other civilizations we know existed are completely eradicated. They don't exist anymore. So they're not the only ones, but they are the first. All right, we're done. So it's a really uplifting.